Hey, what's up everybody? Brent from Brenspeed here. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit behind the scenes on what's been going on with the High Mile Mustang. Now I know when you watch all these videos and everything looks like it goes pretty smooth, you know, it's a video and there are things that don't always go as smooth as you see, but all in all, the High Mile Mustang, everything was pretty good. A few things that went down that you didn't see in the videos were a little bit of maintenance, like we changed the transmission fluid in the car. The fluid with 160,000 miles actually looked good, and we know from service records it's been changed before. It's totally ready to be changed again. Transmission fluid and filter. Same thing with the rear end. When we took the gears out, we put in the 410s, the fluid was okay. It was due to be changed again, and it is now, so that's going to be good. But it's been maintained before. We can tell by when we took the cover off, the silicone holding on wasn't factory. So we know someone's been in there. Although we didn't see it on the service records, we know it has been apart before. The bearings all looked original, and those all looked really good. Something else we changed was the axle seals and axle bearings. We didn't show you that. So what we found on high mile cars, we know this from experience, but when you start tampering with things, sometimes things want to start leaking. So we had the axles out of the car. Perfect time to do the axle seals and axle bearings. They're literally right there in front of you. So we did that, put it all back together, and everything looks really well. We had some meetings at the beginning of this video series on, you know, what all are we going to change on the car. And one of the things I brought up is, you know, maybe we should do some of the coolant hoses. And we talked about it, and they actually looked pretty good. And we're like, okay, we're just going to do the go fast parts, some general maintenance, but we're not going to do the hoses. Well, what do you know? First thing we do is get the car back together, and this hose is leaking. So we had a leak coming out of this, called Ford, got another one, put it on, and like this happens in a lot of different things, is then the next spot that was going to leak started leaking. So we put this on, and now we have another leak. So Ford just brought us this hose right here. This is the upper radiator hose. It's leaking from in here. There's an O-ring in here. This is leaking. We're going to put this on. That'll solve that. And then we hopefully are going to be good to go, get the car back up and running. And that's just some small things you're into when you start tearing a car apart. And with 160,000 miles, you know, a lot of this stuff's to be expected. Really, the only other couple things is this is a lower control arm in the factory when we took off. Normally, when you go to take these off, they come right off. This bushing was like crazy with the bolt. We couldn't get it out, and we ended up having to torch it and cut it. And that's what it looks like right there, which it shouldn't look like that, but that's what this one does. Looks like that right there. And then the only other thing Ian said he ran into is there on the front cover when he was taking it off to, you know, check out how good everything ended up looking inside there. There were a couple little nuts that snapped off from rust. And the car is really not rusty underneath, but certain things get like that. And all these little nuts did was like hold on a little clamp for some wiring. That's it. Nothing with the front cover, and the engine broke, which is awesome. Came off, went back together great. So all in all, for doing a 160,000 mile car that I'm sitting in front of right now, everything went really smooth. And I'm just telling you this to keep in mind. General maintenance goes a long way. Like I told you in the beginning, we had a lot of maintenance records on this car, and it really shows. I mean, from the compression check to the dyno, and everything for the most part looked good. Yeah, some things were due again. I think the transmission and rear end were at that point. They are probably changed, I'm going to guess 80,000 miles right around there from looking at the records. So it was time for that to happen. But something to think about when you're working on your car. Maybe you work on it yourself, or you're going to take it somewhere and get some mods done. Maybe do a little bit here, do a little bit there. Do some of this maintenance as you start getting up near 100,000 miles. So, you know, for me, I don't want things to go wrong at the track. So think about that and do some stuff ahead of time, because it's not only going to make your car last longer, it's things you won't have to fix in a bad situation. You're driving down the highway, you have maybe a hose start leaking like we just ran into, or something else. So think about doing some maintenance and keep the Coyote lasting a long time. This thing has 163,000 miles right now, Everything's going really good on the project. I just want to take a break from the build, take a break from all the other videos that we were shooting, just talk about some of the stuff we ran into, things you don't get the opportunity to look at when you're watching all our different episodes. So, you know, maybe leave me a comment. Maybe you have a high mile car. Do you have one? I mean, this has 163,000. I'd like to find out if you have something with a lot of miles on it. And then don't forget to subscribe, because that's how you're going to stay up to date with all the new videos we're releasing. Not only our different episodes on this car, but we made a lot of different behind the scenes that you're going to want to watch. It's going to show you some more information about the different parts going on our High Mile Coyote Mustang and really the other cool Mustangs we're building here at Brenspeed. Thanks for watching.